The decision to have children is an extremely personal one, but in American culture, your decision on whether or not to have children is a subject that is critically inspected by others. Even though we're living in 2023, a person who decides not to have children is still seen as a deviant from societal norms. To dive into this topic further, I want to present some examples of parenthood encouragement in the media, talk about the stigma around the critique of child-free people, as well as discuss the progressing child-free movement. Before we look at the ways people are criticized for not having children, I want to look at some pop culture examples that influence our society into believing that having children is the norm. Though there is a stigma for any person who chooses to not have children, many of the examples I'm referencing here are ones that specifically encourage motherhood and feature women. Though they may not be quite as popular as they once were, magazines have played a huge role when it comes to forming viewpoints as a society. Magazines such as Parents Magazine, Working Mother, Pregnancy and Newborn, American Baby, and Fit Pregnancy and Baby all cater to mothers. Together they feature tips for pregnancy, childbirth, parenting, and even self-care. These magazines obviously cater toward a specific audience, which is totally acceptable. The problem comes in when there's no representation for an alternative lifestyle. Looking for parenthood promoting examples in television brought one particular show to mind, and you may have thought of it yourself too. 19 Kids and Counting is probably the TV epitome of encouraging parenthood. I mean, the name literally speaks for itself. The well-known family may have had their fair share of ups and downs during their time on TLC, but the infinite growth of the Duggar clan was always a constant. As the Duggar children started to grow into young adults, it seemed like every new episode was all about the next courtship, marriage, or pregnancy. But the reasoning behind having so many children relates to God. Jim, Bob, and Michelle believe that children are gifts from God, and accepting each child is what God has intended for them during their lives. Though the Duggar story is true to their real lives, there are plenty of other fictional TV shows that promote parenthood, whether it's intentional or not. If you stop to think about it, there are tons of shows out there that end with a main character moving on and getting married and or having children. Some instances where a main character has children include the endings of The Big Bang Theory, the season 1 finale of Bridgerton, Friends, Gossip Girl, How I Met Your Mother, Scrubs, and Will and Grace. It seems that in order for a character to have a happy ending, they have to get married and or have children. It's definitely the default, and any other option is totally unconventional. At the other end of the spectrum are depictions of people without children. These folks, however, don't always receive the same support that someone choosing parenthood would. Grey's Anatomy and Mad Men both reflect some sort of criticism against the childless character's decisions. In Grey's Anatomy, for example, Owen tries convincing Christina that she'd be a great mother, despite her own interests.
Yes. You'd be a great mother. You would. And I know you don't believe me, but it is true. Just sit with this for a little while. This terrible idea that you might love a baby. Just remain, sit with it.
Did you even hear? Okay, why would I do that?
Because you love me. You love me.
In Mad Men, Peggy, the female lead without children, sort of, is pitied by her coworker when he mistakes her anger for being upset about never having kids.
She shouldn't have kids.
That's not for you to say.
Oh, Jesus, I can't even agree with you.
I don't hate kids.
Look, you got to a certain point in your life and it didn't happen. I understand you're angry about it, but you've got a lot of other things.
Don't do that.
I mean it. You couldn't have done all you've done otherwise.
I guess that's the secret to your spectacular career, the fact that you don't have kids?
Criticizing childless folks isn't limited to TV shows alone. Public opinion has always been present for celebrities and other popular figures. Jennifer Aniston, one of the most well-known celebrities to not have children, has gotten her fair share of criticism for her choice, of course. A BuzzFeed news article quotes her here. "For the record, I am not pregnant. What I am is fed up. Here's where I come out on this topic. We are complete with or without a mate, with or without a child. We get to decide for ourselves what is beautiful when it comes to our bodies. That decision is ours and ours alone. I used to take it all very personally, the pregnancy rumors and the whole, oh, she chose career over kids assumption. It's like, you have no clue what's going on with me personally, medically, why I can I have kids? They don't know anything. Oprah Winfrey is another widely known celebrity that has also chosen to not have children. Her experience as a host, coupled with her traumatic birth at the age of 14, led her to the choice she has made. She says in an interview, "I don't have the ability to compartmentalize the way I see other women do. It is why, throughout my years, I have had the highest regard for women who choose to be at home with their kids, because I don't know how you do it all day long. Nobody gives women the credit they deserve, and I didn't want babies. I wouldn't have been a good mom for babies. I don't have the patience." The Childfree Movement advocates for the choice to not have children and for the acceptance of this choice. Folks who are part of the movement want others to know that their choice is valid and that there shouldn't be a stigma surrounding their choice. They also place importance on the fact that one can still live a fulfilling life even without children. Despite the backlash the movement faces from others with opposing viewpoints, the movement has actually gained a lot of traction in recent years. Corners of the internet, including Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube, are home to a countless amount of folks that support the child-free choice. The child-free Reddit community has amassed 1.5 million followers and is even within the top 1% of communities when ranked by size. TikTok has been a go-to platform for discussion on this topic, where creators can openly discuss their decision to be child-free. The hashtag childfree is currently sitting at 1 billion views as of May 2023. It is also important to note that the child-free movement is meant to represent folks who are child-free by choice. Being child-free not by choice is definitely a topic that deserves its own acknowledgement, even though that's not what's being discussed here in this particular video. With communities like the Childfree Movement and other supporters of the decision to be child-free, I am hopeful that our society will someday be able to support the choice to not have children in the same way that it supports the choice to have children. Once we can accept both choices, the negative stereotypes and stigmas will no longer play roles in someone's deeply personal decision.